Now, before even you start modeling your design in Archicad, maybe the next thing that you'd do after setting the work unit is now to set up your stories. And this, of course, will depend on pre-designed conceptuals that maybe you have done. And before even you add the first instance of the wall or even any other object here, you need to make sure that your stories are correct. That is what we are going to look in this video. If I proceed to my south elevation, you can see here by default we have 3 different stories. So starting from 0 ground floor all the way to the second story. And then we have the levels. This one is at 0, this one is at 3000 or 3 meters, and this one is at 6 meters. So that is what you customize. And to access the story settings, what we are going to do, there are different ways of doing so. You can proceed to your design menu and then click on story settings. Another option is to right click on the 0 ground floor tab and then proceed to story settings. Now the last option is to click on the settings here. You click on the settings, they will take you to the story settings. Now let us proceed with this design option and then proceed to story settings. Again, you are taken to the same wizard as with what we had. Now as you can see by default, this is what we have. The first one is 0 ground floor. This one is named for you, and there are the others, of course. We are going to start with seeing how we can add additional stories. Assume you have or what you want to model. It's actually a 3-story. Okay, it's a 5-story building. In that case, you could click on this second here and then insert above. So the third one will be inserted, the fourth one will be inserted, and the fifth one will be inserted like that. Let's say you want to add below the 0 ground floor. Assume you have a basement 1 and basement 2. In that case, you would insert below and insert below again. That is it. And then for example, I'm at the fourth one. You can insert below it and it will be inserted there. You could have something, let's say you would have something like that. Then assume that this one I have added by mistake. I can click on delete story there. So we are going to have 5 stories in that case. So after now you add them, the next thing is to define their naming or give them a name. If you don't give them a name and you proceed and click OK, they'll be given the default name story there. Now mostly you'd change the name. So right click on -2 story there and proceed to story settings. So we would add the names, or you'd give them the names. So here I would click and maybe say basement 1. Just click here at the text and I'll type in basement 1, and okay, let's call it basement 02, and this one we can call it basement 01. That, and then you proceed and give others the names. You can call it first floor, and the other one we call it second floor. The third one we call it third floor. Only about third floor. And also we have the fourth floor and then the fifth floor, like that. We call it the fifth floor. So all the floors are added. And then after you add the floors, the height to next now becomes important. And here is where you decide to add the height to next. Let's assume the basement will be 3 meters, this one 3 meters, but this one, the 0 ground floor to the next, here we want it to be 2850. So in that case, we would choose and you'd change and have 2850. Like that, and also like this. And also the last one there, you can give it 2850. and then click OK. So if I proceed to my south elevation or to my elevation, it will update. Now you can see all the levels have been added. So we have the 5th floor there, and we have the first -2 basement 02 there. Again, you can see they have the naming. Now let's assume at the top of or above this 5th floor, I have the roof level there. Now I don't have to show that roof level in this plan or in this south elevation, because they're actually shown automatically. What I can do, right click on this plan tab and then proceed to story settings. I will insert above, then I call it roof level, and then here I'm going to uncheck this, and here maybe it can be about 3000. So let's see what effect will that have. Click OK. As you can see, it will not be added in this particular section or in this particular elevation view. So these levels are shown in elevations. You can decide not to show them by using the option here, story settings, and you uncheck. So mostly I would prefer that we check them. Let's see, they will not be shown in your section stroke elevation. So mostly myself, I prefer to have them. But this one, because it is not a very important level, this one will only help us to control the height. It is not that important, but of course it is okay, it is important that you have it there, and you are going to have them back shown in your elevation stroke section. So that is how you set these levels. And for you to switch between levels, currently I'm in -2 basement 02. You just need to double click in the navigator. Like for now I have switched to -1, and I can double click once again. I'll proceed to -2, and the floor tab will read 0 ground floor. You can do the same to the others. Just double click in the navigator. That is one of the options. Alternatively, you can right click on this floor tab and you can decide to select there. So whichever works for you or whichever is simpler, you can choose any pair. And of course, the other option to even not want to go there, but the other option to switch between the levels, I don't want to proceed to that point. So that is how we set the stories and navigate through them.